Hi guys, welcome back to the Vanity. So today what we're going to do is not quite a first impressions, but pretty much a first impressions of a new brand that's carried at Ulta. It's called Flesh. It's my understanding that this is a sister brand to Revlon. It's like their higher end line that is already being carried at Ulta. So I picked up some things. I've used the items only once, so this will be just kind of like a second impressions, but let's just go ahead and get into the video. Alright, so first up, I don't have anything on my face besides just lip balm. They did have a, what was it called? I don't know, some kind of like illuminating primer. It was out of stock, so I was not able to pick that up. So I'm going to prime my face with just this Makeup Forever moisturizing or hydrating base. And then we'll go ahead and get into the foundation. Okay, so first up, what I have is their Firm Flesh Thickstick foundation. And if you've seen some of the videos already that are going around, everyone is sort of having an issue with the name. I kind of actually like the name Flesh. I feel like it's alright. It doesn't bother me at all. I don't really know how they picked out the names because some of them are sort of sexual, some of them are food-based, so it's kind of a mix, but whatever, they're just trying to have fun with it, and we've seen that from Urban Decay and from Too Faced and from you know, a bunch of different makeup brands, NARS, things like that. So that doesn't bother me at all. But what kind of did surprise me is when I pulled this tiny little box out of the shipping box and I was like, wait, what? This is the foundation? And then I pulled it out and it's just this teeny tiny little guy. Like, this is the exact same size of the sample you would get almost for the Tarte friction stick. I had a sample guy. It seemed like it was pretty much the exact same packaging, but it was purple. So I feel like for an $18 foundation, you get 0.16 ounce. So you're almost paying almost $1 per unit of measure in the item, which I feel like is kind of expensive. And I'm not really familiar with stick foundation, so I wasn't sure if, as far as what was in the container or how much product you get, if that was usual, and it's not. This is pretty small for a stick foundation. Most of them range between like 0.25 or like 3.6, something in that range. So you're almost getting double, sometimes almost triple the amount of product that you're getting in here. I do understand though that they are wanting you, I think, to buy more than one shade because you're supposed to be able to contour and highlight and stuff. So maybe that's the reasoning. I guess for me, who has a lot of makeup, I guess it's not such a big deal because it's harder to go through it anyway. But let's just go ahead and get this out. I do believe this one was supposed to have neutral undertones. What I picked out was 08 Custard. I didn't go in store. I purchased this online. The color is okay for the match, but it's not wonderful. Alright, so we're zoomed in. From using this the other day, I do know that I have to use it with the Beauty Blender or some kind of a makeup sponge. It doesn't blend out all that well with a brush. It is, as they say, a thick foundation. And when you roll it up, this is how much product you get. And actually, my stick is crooked, which nobody likes a crooked stick, but that is how much product you get in here. We'll see if I end up breaking this off because it is, like I said, is crooked. I feel like it's very yellow. This doesn't look neutral to me, and it's supposed to be neutral. And it, like I said, it's thick, so you kind of have to do a swiping motion to work it into the skin. And with that, as you can see, it's not sticking to my acne. You're supposed to be able to conceal and everything with it. It says medium coverage with luminous, lightly dewy finish, not chalky. True color, clarity in shades carefully created for every skin tone. So this is one coat, and it feels like it's a bit patchy, which I had the same, sorry, I got something on my face. I had the same issue the other day. when I used it yesterday. It's not covering any of like the acne stuff, so with the sponge I feel like it's definitely not medium coverage. It's going to be more of a lightweight coverage. I think maybe if you worked it in with your fingers, you might get a little bit more coverage. So what I'm going to do actually is work it in with a brush and then smooth it out more with the Beauty Blender and see if that helps a little bit. As far as wear, yesterday when I had it on, it seemed okay. It didn't like break down. I didn't get like oily or anything like that. I'm just going to use this Wet n Wild brush. It's a softer brush, and that's giving me a little bit more coverage, like right around here. It has like a little bit of a ring on the acne itself because it does cling a little bit to the dry patches. It's not super bad, but it's not too dewy and it's not too matte. But I would have to go over that with another concealer or something like that. And actually with this softer brush, it seemed to be okay. I'm just going to pounce it in a little bit more on the cheeks and stuff and on my nose. But it doesn't feel like tacky or greasy or anything like that. I mean, it feels a little bit tacky, but it's not like where some stick foundations just feel like, you know, Halloween makeup. It feels pretty nice that if you let it set a little bit longer, maybe it'll be able to stay a little bit more fresh, or like with all the rest of your powders, you won't need to set it. So I'm just going to put a little bit on my finger and then just dab it in. Now yesterday when I used this, I generally just use concealer as my like eyeshadow primer. This does not work well for that. By the end of the day, my eyeshadows were creased, so definitely don't use that. And I did set it, but it's just too creamy for that usage. Alright, so off camera I just went ahead and put my brows on with the IT Cosmetics Brow Pencil, Brow Power, whatever, and the NYX Control Freak Eye Gel. Eyebrow gel, and then they also didn't have like any eye primer or anything like that, so I just used my Milani eyeshadow primer and I set that and my under eyes with the NYX banana powder, their HD banana powder. So I set my eyes, my under eyes, I did my brows. They also did not have a bronzer, but I'm going to hold off on putting on bronzer because we're going to do our highlight first. Okay, so the first one, let's see here, we'll likely want to put on this guy first. So it comes in the box like this. Just in comparison, this is the foundation box. It still boggles my mind that was so small. I mean, great, it'll be good for travel, but so this is their Ripe Flesh Glistening Drops. The color that I picked mine up in is 210 Aura. They did have quite a few shades. This one comes in a glass dropper like this. I actually quite like the packaging of this. It feels really kind of luxe. So as you can see, there's the drop, there's kind of a lot of product, and there's it a little bit sheared out. It's just a really pretty color. And the way that I used it yesterday when I did it is I first kind of stippled it on, and then I used it on the back of my hand like this, just picking up a little bit because I don't want to get too much. And then I used my Beauty Blender after that to kind of melt it into my skin. And it's actually a really pretty highlighter. I was a little bit worried that it was going to look a little bit too like glittery, but it doesn't. It's very nice. Yeah, so you can see there, it does kind of break up the foundation just a little bit, but I find like most liquid highlighters like this do that. So you got to be a little bit careful how much you put on. I'll see if I can zoom you in a little bit for that. And so you can see it's a little bit broken up here on the face. But as far as the sheen that it gives, it's really, really pretty. And I feel like if the foundation wasn't so matte, it's not super matte, but it is more of like a natural finish, so it doesn't have any dewiness to it. So it's kind of sets a little bit. Maybe try applying it first. I haven't tried that yet. But otherwise, I love the finish that it gives. And again, these are the Glisten drops. They come in 4 shades. This is $28. So the 4 shades that they have are Aura, which I got here. They reference this as a shimmering pearl. It does have a slight pink tone to it, but As you can see, it is more of just like a pearly sheen. And then they have Whisper, Candle, and Vibrate. Okay guys, so I am back. I did just put on bronzer. I used my L'Oreal Glam Bronze, and I just set my face a little bit with the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Pores. I just did a light dusting. The foundation though, as it wears a little bit, it does dry down some. So if you are dry and you use it, you might not need to set it. For sure if you're oily though, I think you might want to, unless you really appreciate more of like the dewy finish. Even with setting it, I don't feel like it's too matte and or dries out my skin. I didn't add any concealer to this because I'm not really doing a whole lot today, so I don't need to have a flawless base. But anywho, the one item that I did pick up that I'm not really going to use today, but I'll tell you a little bit about, is the Fleshpot Eye and Cheek Gloss. You get 0.1 ounce in here, and it comes in this cute little box and the packaging like this. And it's a really pretty, shimmery, almost like jelly that you can put on your cheeks, your lips, your eyes to give you sort of that glossy effects that you see in the magazines. I did try it out a little bit last night. I just don't feel like this is going to be a good product for the everyday person unless you're someone who doesn't really mind the makeup that stays a little bit tacky, because this is almost like a Vaseline product, but it's not made out of Vaseline. But this retails for $20. It looks like most of the items are going to be coming in store on 7/8. So if I have that up, this video up before then, which hopefully I do, you know, stay tuned. These things will be in store and you can kind of play around with it. But it's oil free, just supposed to have a high shine, give you sort of that runway look if you're wanting to do that. It says gold, peach, and pink pigments are supposed to like shift. So if you can see right here, it does have a little bit of like a shimmery, different shift to it. It's super pretty, but like, I just don't see me using it in my everyday life. Like, I couldn't imagine putting this on before I go to the office and be like, hey guys, you know, just here to work with my shiny eyelids. But you can, you know, use it on the lips. I picked it up because I don't have anything in my collection like this, and sometimes when I do pictures for Instagram or I want to like just try something out of the box, I've used like lip glosses on my eyelids before, so I thought that this would be kind of fun to have. It's definitely outside of the box in my makeup realm. So the next thing that I'm going to do is my blush. I did pick up one of the blushes here. It comes in, of course, the little brown and pink box. The color that I picked mine up in is in Pulse. They have 4 matte blushes and 4 shimmer blushes, or what they call frost blushes. But this one is supposed to be a frost. It doesn't really look like a frost. And it goes on really nicely. I didn't have really any problem with it. These do retail for $26. So I feel like for a blush, it's a little bit pricey, but where's my blush brush? It's nothing out of the ordinary for a high-end brand. It does have this cute like fingerprint stamped on, and a little bit goes a long way because these are pretty pigmented. I like kind of dusty roses. They do have bright pinks. They have more deeper, richer blushes too for deeper skin tones. But this just gives like a nice pretty flush to the cheeks. I'm going to do a little bit on the nose, a little bit here. Give me a little bit more of a sun-kissed type of glow, like I got a little bit of a sunburn. And as you can see, I just barely touched into that. So it's a really pretty, just pink, dusty sort of pinky color. Give you a swatch there. Yeah, so it's just a really nice, natural, really easygoing blush. So next up, we'll talk about the other highlighter that I bought. This is their Flesh to Flesh highlighting powder. The color that I picked mine up in was in the color Lift. Again, it comes in their pretty brown and pink boxes like that, and in their pretty pink packaging. I really do wish that they would have done their foundation stick in like this brown metal packaging. It's like the foundation stick is the only one that's in this plastic. I'm just surprised they didn't do like a metal outer case so that they were more cohesive. But this is the color Lift here. It's a little, like a touch too dark for my skin, but I'm going to make it work. So it's similar to Becca Opal. It's a little bit darker than like the Mary Luminizer, But the powder formula on these are really, really great. If you're into highlighters and you like multiple shades, I would definitely recommend picking up more than one. The highlighters are, again, it said available in stores 7-8. These retail for $28. They do have 6 shades for that. It says that they have crushed minerals, coconut and sunflower seed oil, pomegranate and ginger root extracts. So they're just supposed to be like a really creamy, non-dry looking highlighter formula. So I do already have the highlighter on, but we're gonna go ahead and put more on. And I just tapped, and that's how much you get there. It's gonna be a little bit hard to tell, but these powders are really, really, really pretty. I like this one more than I do the liquid one for sure. See, like I put some on my chin here and you can see it. It's just slightly darker than my skin tone, but I'm just gonna make it work anyway. Yeah, I highly recommend this. When I felt this and I swatched it, I was like, yes. It's just a great highlighter. So if you're interested in any of those, definitely pick up the shades that you're interested in. You won't be disappointed in those whatsoever. They're great. So one of the next things that we're going to talk about is their only eyeshadow palette that they have. It comes in a box like this. This one retails for $38. It is a 9-pan eyeshadow palette. The one nice thing is if you are into the mirrors and the palettes, it has a really nice mirror in there. I do like that it completely goes to the back, so you don't have to worry about that. It is a very weighty palette. It has 3 mattes, and then they said that these are different types of shimmer or metallic, but they mainly are metallic. Yesterday I used this one and this one as sort of like a halo eye, and then I put this color in the center. Like I said, my shadows did crease yesterday, but because I put the foundation on my eyelids like I normally would with my concealer, and that just didn't work. So I am going to take the middle brown color there and just work that into my crease. I didn't have any trouble blending this out. I just start with a little bit because it is pretty pigmented in the pan, and then just build up where I want it to be built up. But as you can see, like, that's pretty blended to me. It's not patchy or anything like that. And I just did a couple taps, and I'm not really noticing any fallout on these. So okay, so next I think I'm going to take a smaller brush, and this is just some random Mary Kay brush that I have, but it's just a small eyeshadow brush. I'm going to kind of do a halo eye again, so I am going to go into the dark brown because that would be the next step, and I'm going to kind of stamp it in the inner and the outer corner of the eye. And then I am going to just connect that in the middle here. I'm going to go slightly above my crease, saying that I have hooded eyes. I just sometimes like to see some of those shadows a little bit more, so I go a little bit higher. Now, as you can see, I don't feel like I put in a lot of work. They seem to be blended just fine on my eye, and I'm going to go ahead and do the other one. So I have sort of my smoky halo eye started. I think what I'm going to try and do is this in the center. That might be a little bit weird for a halo eye, but I'm going to try it out. And then blend it into like this color and the outer edges and see what that looks like. So let's start with the darker color, and I'm just going to concentrate that out here, kind of over where we did that dark brown color. It's kind of like a purpley brown. It's pretty. So that's on. I am now going to just flip the brush and go into this fuchsia pinky purple type color and see how that does in the center of the lid. And then I'll tap it on my eye. So it's not like super duper pigmented, but I think you can build it up. I'm just gonna flip it then and blend this color back into that color. So this is it, just no like Fix Plus or anything like that. It's kind of an interesting color. Focus. It's kind of an interesting color because it does have some brightness behind it, but it's also just almost like I said, almost like a whisper of a color, because as you're blending it out, it kind of like shifts a little bit, I guess, and has a little bit of translucent feel behind it, but also has impact of color. So I'm not mad at it, but I'm gonna go ahead and try some Fix Plus and see if it'll get a little bit more intense at all with that. And of course with Fix Plus, it's definitely getting more of the metallic feel to it. What do you guys think? Can you tell the difference between the eyes? So that one has the Fix Plus and this one doesn't. I feel like it definitely looks a little bit better with the Fix Plus. Okay, so I am going to just take a small brush like this, and I'm going to use the white shade in my inner corner. Now, yesterday when I used it without any Fix Plus, it just looked a little bit sheer and just kind of like a hint of a color. The shimmers, I don't know, it just didn't have like really opaque color like I like for the inner corner, so I am going to try it with a little bit of Fix Plus today. It's definitely white, but I don't know, it's kind of weird because it has almost like this see-through property to it. Almost like it just has shimmer with no base color. It's weird. It's interesting, but weird. I don't know. It's not my favorite color. So what I'm actually going to do is use the highlighter and see how that rolls. Yeah, I like that much better. Okay, so let's get started on the under eye. I'm just going to go ahead and use that same brush. I'm just wiping it off. I'm going to start with the light brown like we did and just start smoking out the lower lash line here. And then I'm going to take the darker brown right here and just use that on the outer third here. Outer third. Palette. Here are the swatches of everything. Going down from the top to bottom, the color on the top, the white, is called Exposed. Then we have Unveil, Rush, which is like that. Looks more purple in the pan, but it is more of like a pink fuchsia color. Then we have Chasm, I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. Taste, Feeling, Mind, Touch, and Nerve. Mind, Touch, and Nerve are all the mattes. Now, out of the formulas, when you go through the pans, this one, this one, this one, and this one feel like they're more metallic. They feel more of almost like oily or sticky. And then this one for sure. And what other one? I think just this one seemed, maybe this one and this one seemed a little bit drier. Out of the mattes, these feel just fine. The black seems like it feels the driest out of the formula, but it's definitely not a bad black. It's not just like super pigmented, but I don't think that you're gonna have a problem using it, which I kind of prefer with my blacks. I do like that it looks definitely more black than gray. So the next thing that I picked up was one of their lip products. This is their Fleshy Lips Lipstick. It's $18. They do have 4 shades. And again, it comes in the brown and pink packaging. What I found kind of interesting is they have the color, but unlike like e.l.f. usually does that on the bottom, this is actually on the cap and it pulls out like that. This one does not have a magnetic close, but as far as the packaging, it feels similar to my Clinique one in the Peach Pop. The only thing is rolling it up, mine seems to be like sticking and cracking and popping a little bit. So this part to me doesn't seem like an $18 lipstick. It just, there's something going on there. But the color that I got mine in is in Lick. And again, they have 4 shades in this. These have rosehip, lavender, and white tea extracts. So it's just supposed to be nice and moisturizing on your lips. It's not supposed to have high impact color. I just picked out a nude. I have a little bit of like a dry piece right here. It is accentuating that. But the formula feels nice. It feels more of like a balmy type of lipstick, which is certainly what I enjoy to use. I don't like matte lipsticks at all, really. So it feels really light. But moisturizing, it has a little bit of a tint to it. I can just throw it on. It's going to make my smaller lips look bigger because they're going to be more plump and hydrated, which I appreciate. So this is several passes though to be able to show you that color. But as you can see, it is just like a nice nudie, peachy type of color. It does have a little bit of a sheen to it. Okay, so final rundown on everything for the foundation. I feel like it gives a really nice finish to the skin. As you wear it more, it settles in to your skin and it doesn't look patchy or anything like that. I wish it didn't cling as much to my dry areas, but it's not bad. I mean, I've obviously put on worse foundations and I was a little bit nervous doing a stick foundation. Do I think it's worth $18? I don't know yet. I'm kind of on the fence. I think if you're interested, definitely give it a try. I don't feel like $18 is super expensive for a foundation because you can go to the drugstore and pay $16. So for a high-end foundation, that doesn't bother me as so much. If I really love the foundation, then absolutely it's worth it. So I'm going to continue to use it and see my thoughts on it, but it's definitely not a bad foundation. It's not, like first when I put it on, I felt like it was kind of settling into my pores a little bit. But as I'm looking at it now that it's been on my face for a little while, it's not doing that. I like the finish that it gives. So all in all, so far, I do like it. The Glisten drops, like I said, I do like it. It did break up the foundation a little bit today, which I didn't notice it did that yesterday, so it might just be how I applied it today. But I'll continue to use it. I don't think I'll pick up other shades because the other ones didn't look like they would interest me as much, maybe like one other shade. But this is the shade that I liked the most, so I will continue to use it. The Fleshpot. I know I didn't get to really demo this for you guys, but to be honest, if you feel like you might use it for taking pictures, or if you're a makeup artist and you want this in your kit, I think it might be a good use for that. For the everyday person who's doing their makeup just to have fun or go to work or go out, I don't think this is really gonna work. So I would say if you don't really think you're gonna use it, I would just say it's a pass for me for 20 bucks. I could have spent 20 bucks on something else. As the blush, so far the color, it's okay. I have other colors like this. I have drugstore colors that are like this. So to pay $26 for this one, I don't know. But it stays on really nice. So if you like high-end blushes and you need blushes that have staying power, this one's nice. I feel like it goes on better than my pigmented Tarte blushes. My Tarte blushes seem to be a little bit patchy. The really pigmented ones. This one was really easy to blend out for how pigmented it is. So the highlighter, you guys know I already love the Flesh to Flesh highlighter. If you're interested in this line at all, this has to be one of the items that you pick up. Next up, the palette. 38 bucks I feel like is a little steep for a palette like this, considering just considering all that is on the market. I do like it. I'm going to continue to use it. I wish that this color was a little bit more than it is, but at the same time, it's interesting. I wonder if they did the sort of vibe on this color on purpose, or if they were having trouble making purple. But either way, I do like the overall feel of this palette, and I'll continue to use it. It feels very sturdy, so if you're into packaging and you're into, you know, that sort of tactile of products, you'll like the way that this one feels, and it performs pretty well. As you can see, I mean, you're going to get more of a deeper look just because of the colors that are in here that you can work with. You know, these are pretty deep browns for fair to light skin. So, and then as far as the lipstick, the Fleshy Lips lipstick, 4 shades, $18. It goes on okay. It still looks patchy right by this dry spot. It's not doing a good job at moisturizing that, but it feels really nice on the lips. Would I rebuy it for $18? No, it's not like gonna be, I gotta have it, but I will use it. So, okay guys, so that's everything as far as what I feel about what I picked up. The items that were currently on Ulta's website that I did not pick up, they have the Touch Flesh Highlighting Balm. I did see a couple reviews of people who have that. They enjoyed it, especially if you're someone who likes dewy makeup and having more dewy highlighters. They really enjoyed it. It had definitely that balmy texture to it, and it stayed a little bit tacky on the skin, so keep that in mind if you want that. And those retail for $18. I didn't get any of those, but they have 4 shades. Then they also have the Swipe Flesh Lip Colors. They are in like a container like the blush, but then you would just use it with your fingers. It's like a little pot. Those are $24. They are 7 shades. Okay, so then they also have their Strong Flesh Lipstick, which are definitely more pigmented. Those are $18. They have 9 shades. They have their Proud Flesh Matte Liquid Lipsticks. Those are $20. They have 4 shades of those. And then they have their Fresh Flesh Illuminating Primer, which again I did mention. Thanks again so much for joining, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this second impressions, first impressions kind of review of the brand Flesh. Please give give the video a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. Let me know in the comments below if you're interested in picking up anything from this brand. If so, what and why? What did you like most about what I tried? Leave me all those details down below. And thanks again, guys, for taking time out of your day to watch one of my videos and spend some time with me. And I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.